Hey folks, Carl Kishel here, and welcome to this week's edition of the Microsoft Cloud News Update, researching the cloud blog so you don't have to. So this week was a slow week, but we do have some things to share, including a Azure Firewall now being available, Azure Active Directory support for Azure Relay, some Microsoft 365 roadmap updates regarding Defender, and a couple of other items. With that, let's jump into this week's updates. Links to all the updates, which I'll be covering in this video, can be found in the description. So our first update, next generation firewall capabilities with Azure Firewall Premium. So Azure Firewall Premium has gone generally available, and this blog post gets into all the details of the general availability release and some key specific functions. And there's a list here of all of them. The things I think that Azure Firewall Premium bring to the table are these two items here. For number one, TLS inspection. So Firewall Premium will terminate outbound and east-west TLS connections, whereas and integration with Azure Application Gateway. So that capability is now available with Premium. And also URL filtering. The URL filtering is now supported with Firewall Premium, and not just FQDNs, but the specific URLs. And as mentioned, the blog post gets into all the details on how this works, how to set it up, and a couple of best practices. Azure Relay now supports Azure Active Directory and is now in public preview. So this public preview is regarding Azure Active Directory integration with Azure Relay. So you can have authorization pass through Azure Active Directory, OAuth tokens, etc. into Azure Relay. If you're not familiar with Azure Relay, this is a way to expose your on-premises services securely without having to do a lot of firewall manipulation. And there are two ways that Azure Relay basically works. There's a hybrid connection, which are basically your standard WebSockets over HTTP, HTTPS, and WCF Relay, which is Windows Connected Relay. So those two, Windows Communication Foundation relays, WCFs. And this is currently in preview. And if you wanted to combine the authentication capabilities with Azure Active Directory and exposing your on-prem services, this is a great way to do that. Our next update is roadmap update regarding Microsoft 365 Defender and what was previously known as the Office 365 Security and Compliancy Center. So this is more of a heads up that as of September of this year, users will be redirected from protection.office.com to security.microsoft.com to Microsoft 365 Defender capabilities and away from Office 365 Security and Compliancy Center. Some portal updates regarding Azure and the latest June 2021 update. This is a nice summary of all the updates that have occurred across the Azure portal in the last month. They include support for Azure Kubernetes services and the ability now to see individual nodes in your AKS cluster. Some smaller updates here regarding storage experience and Azure SQL database, and some updates to Microsoft Intune. But the other important update I wanted to bring your attention to, and you may or may not actually know that this is available, is the Azure mobile app. So if this is something, if you do a lot of Azure work or Azure administration, this is something you should have on your mobile device so you can stay connected with your Azure environment and keep up to date to all the latest alerts, etc. within Azure. So the mobile app is something you can download. You log in with your admin credentials and be able to do some administrative work through the mobile app. But more importantly, keep up to date on any kind of notifications, service health alerts, issues, etc. And our last update for this week, ethical hacking with VirtualBox is now available. So support in Azure Lab Services for VirtualBox, which is a common virtualization software used for ethical hacking classes, is now supported within Azure Lab Services. And this particular blog post gets into the details on how to set this up in your Azure Lab. That concludes this edition of the Microsoft Cloud News Update. Short week again. It's in the middle of summer here in the United States, and really kind of ramping up, I guess, all the updates for the fall, which when everyone gets back from vacation, and you'll see a lot of changes within Azure in that time frame. So appreciate everyone's attention. Thank you so much for watching the video this week. If you have any comments, suggestions, etc., you can drop them in the comment box. You can also reach out to me either via LinkedIn or on Twitter. So those are options for you as well. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the notification bell. So with that, thanks again for watching the video. I wish you well, and we will catch you next time. Take care.